Border Barrels. We're back, and we're real sorry because we've been away. We've been doing some things. We went to a beer festival, and that was pretty fun. We watched some footy while we're there.
Yeah.
But we didn't go to any footy.
We didn't soak it up as one would do in
Yes,
Melbourne.
we didn't. But anyway, we will do that next time. But we apologise for being away for another week. But we're locked in for the rest of this, and we're here for one of the greatest rounds that everyone loves, the bye rounds. Yeah.
SuperCoaches hate the bye rounds.
But anyway, so we're going to do a bit of a recap of what's going on around the grounds here. And hit it, Big Huddo. All right, here we are. And before you're straight up.
I've got something.
Oh!
Now, we missed last week. We didn't do a pod to talk about SuperCoach because at said beer festival, we had a moment in the public restroom where we talked SuperCoach.
Yes.
So we're all SuperCoach talked out.
Yeah, that's true. We did the podcast live from the Gabs bar.
Now, the best part of that, and I don't think I actually mentioned this to you guys even after the fact, but there were probably 20 people in that bathroom, but the three of us continued on with our conversation as we were in the bathroom while no one else was speaking. And it took me a long time to realise that no one else was speaking and we were the only ones still having a conversation.
Yeah.
That everybody else could hear. So that's already funny enough anyway. What's better is when people can become involved, but with genuine interest.
Yeah.
So I
Not
believe
asking.
you were in the trough, and I think I was standing
yes.
back in line.
Yeah.
And what prompted it? I forget
No,
what
because you
prompted
were
it.
like, Sicily's on blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, sweet, what's Wits on? And some dude said something. I'm like, oh, well, you could have Rosas. And some other dude was like, bloody hell, if you still got him on your team, you're in strike. And then that was followed by someone saying, fuck off, I need a piss right in my face because I was standing there talking.
There you go.
And then so what also happened, I don't know if I told you guys this after. So you guys left before I did from the room and I was still in there. And one of the guys that you were talking to was walking past me, zipping up fly. And I said, do you have Sicily? And he's like, no. I said, you got 147. He's like, fuck, 147. And as he walked past, another guy, also zipping up fly, walked past him, who clearly doesn't play SuperCoach, and under his breath said, Sicily 147, the fuck is this? So whilst a lot of people in the room were interested in our conversation and were happy to be part of it, there was one person that didn't know what the hell was going on.
And the other guy, that he was there to piss.
But still, I'll tell you what. If you live in Melbourne or you're new to Melbourne and you need to make friends, forget Bumble friends. All you need to do is go to a crowded bathroom and start talking about SuperCoach.
Yeah.
And people will flock to you with their flies up or down, depending on where they're at, and they will talk to you about James Sicily. Did I get it?
Yes. He's 1 for 12 in the podcast history of names.
Oh, God, there you go. Very
Still
good.
yet to find, what's his name?
What
did he call
Justin
him?
Grundy.
Justin Grundy. And what was the other one? Oh, no, Andrew Hudson, the commentator.
Andrew Hudson.
Yes, anyway.
I hear it, but I don't believe it.
Oh, goodness me. Now, look, I'm not going to lie. This podcast is probably going to be all about Huddo.
Yeah.
Because he's doing quite well.
He's had a good couple
and
of
it's,
weeks.
And it's probably going to be less about Shime. Because he didn't do that well.
Well, where are you?
Well, last week, unfortunately.
You're not tracking to be honest with you, you're looking like you might get over 1900 here, Simon.
You're going to
Yeah,
beat
no,
me this week.
Which is
Will I?
Oh, yes.
Oh, touche.
that's very big for you because that's just 1900's good. It's
So
a fact.
last week we had some interesting. We posted them on the Facebook page, but
The scores.
you want to go to your homepage quickly. Simon, can you go to your homepage? We'll just quickly recap what we got last week.
Ask Jeeves.
Literally, I'm saying what you're doing, but you can do it. You just go to the little 3 strokes.
Oh,
No, not even the 3 strokes. Just click the KFC logo.
Okay, sorry. I did that because I didn't really know what you're asking.
So the homepage will tell you your score.
I wasn't listening.
Your score from last week.
No, I heard it, but I don't know how
So-
to work it.
I hear it, but I don't believe it.
Last week it was a high scoring round and you didn't have the best round. What did you score?
22-30.
22-30. And then Yeah, so I posted 24.34, which was still top 13%, which is fine, and went up a little bit. Hudson.
I scored 2,556, which was top 2%.
Oh, geez.
So
98th percentile.
and season rank for you is going up. You're now 5,320th.
Yes.
Which is
I am.
which is a lot better than a lot of the other SuperCoach podcasts that I do listen to, by the way, and a fair few people.
Yeah,
on there.
well, leading the SuperCoach podcast landscape, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, the Phantom's 128th.
Yeah, Phantom's doing well, although I did beat him last week. So
Oh,
shove
and
that
he
up
went
your
up that
Phantom.
far.
I reckon
Yeah,
he's...
you get paid to play SuperCoach and I still beat you.
Yeah, I reckon he's... I don't reckon he's got any idea, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
I
he's
just do,
nothing.
I do this for fun. I'm not
Yeah.
even trying.
Exactly. Like, he's 128th. He bloody works for the company. Join the dots.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's all I'm saying.
You're like the hipster.
That's
son.
if Bill Gates won a Microsoft
No, but-
competition, people would ask questions.
There is a guy called the Hipster on the same Phantom podcast
Oh, yeah.
who tries to pick pods in his team, but then tries to also be serious at the same time. And last week he ended up with Jack Carroll as his captain, who was the medical sub that came on in the first quarter and still only scored 13. And he ended up with him because he thought he read it as Carroll had played VFL and was an emergency, not the sub, and he got it completely wrong.
Oh, right.
But you're going better than him, I think.
Yeah, so I thought you meant the hipster as far as like I'm playing it and I'm really into it, but pretending I'm not into it at the same time. Like many hipster outfits.
I thought you were saying Simmo was a hipster because normally you do your VC in an early game and then you C in a late game. But Simmo's like, you know what? I'm going to not do that. And I'm going to put C on Friday night and just really test my luck.
I focus on the team and I don't really. I'm like, oh well, the captain's on McRae. He scores really well every single. But it does depend where the bloody game is. And he played first game, didn't he?
Yeah.
So whatever.
And again,
he gets,
a good amount of touches, not a great score.
Yeah, but you sort of it wouldn't even matter if he was on fire. If it's first game, I know that now he wouldn't be. You wouldn't put him as captain.
No, you
because
put him-
You just see what happens.
You put his VC and then you hope they score well, and if they don't, they don't. Which is what happened with me. I had VC on McRae, and I didn't go with it. I was very tempted because I brought in this week English, which was disappointing. He scored an 80.
He couldn't have played any worse and still got 80.
Yeah, and upon research that was far too late, I found out that opposition rucks against Geelong suck for some reason, which is funny because their rucks suck.
Yeah,
It's so weird. They negate, like Reece Stanley negates other teams' ruckmen whilst also being not good.
It's the new. That's the new position. So we went from like frontal pressure in the forward line, so defensive forward, maybe defensive ruck.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Are you? I don't think you're suggesting this at all. But I was going to say I couldn't even name Geelong's ruck. But do you think he's effective because he doesn't play the ruck position properly? So when you're like, oh, we're going to play this guy, and like, yeah, he's not very good at rucking. Like, you don't know what he's going to do. Like, he's unpredictable because he's not a traditional ruck.
Well, I think he's just not very good at ruck itself. Like, he's a good player, don't get me wrong, Reece Stanley. I think he has been All-Australian, hasn't he?
No.
No? Oh. Well, anyway.
Blizzards has won a couple of.
But he's...
Blitzfast has won some best and fairest.
Oh, okay. But Reece Stanley is quite athletic.
That's the thing he's got. He's very athletic.
He's a big fella, so you can't really jump over him. You can't really outmuscle him. He's not...
He's won a grand final sprint.
Yeah, he's not... He's not...
Yeah.
He's not Max
Okay.
Scorn with the tap work, but he's... I think that's the thing, is like he's hard to beat. He probably won't beat you, but it's hard to beat him, if that makes sense. Like Matt DeBoer, not very good, probably won't kick six on you, but can negate even the best in the comp.
No, it's 100% true. Now, before we just get into this week's scores, because the buy round is interesting, what was your trade strategy going into this round?
It was... So I brought in English because by bringing in English and having Darcy Cameron as well in my forward line, both of them, I have Bryn Teakle now as my R3 as 102k ruck forward. Going through the buys, I will have 2 ruckmen every week.
Okay.
So that was part of the strategy, is make sure, because that's the one that always gets you in previous years. It's like, I've got 19 playing, and then you look and your R3's playing.
Yeah.
Or like you don't have any rucks, or you got too many rucks and you can't work them out. So,
But how many trades? Just 2 trades?
no, I actually used 3 because Well done, Hudson. I got rid of Nick Dacos,
Okay.
who scored over 100
That's all
today.
right.
But it's freed up some money, so I've got about 250K for next week, and I've only got 2 more upgrades to make, and I've got my eyes on a couple of good ones.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't want to unleash my plans because
No.
my reign as the predominant super coacher on this podcast could be in danger if I tell you my plans.
No, that's all right. But it's interesting that you did the Bryn Teakle because I also did the same thing, but that was all I did. And the reason why, I already had 19 playing. The issue was 11 premiums, the rest rookies. So I knew I had way too many rookies on field this week, and I knew that I was going to have a bad week regardless, unless all these rookies pulled scores out of their asses, basically. So I was writing off this week as I've got a full playing team. I'll just deal with it the best it comes. But I've also managed to make 300K to take into next week. Next week is my problem buy. I've got a lot of guys out. I think I've got 14 at the moment on field. But the best part is I have 2 boosts left and I have 300K. So I can do 4 trades and bring in 2 more premiums to actually finish my team off and get 18 playing. So next week should be better. And then I have like 21 or something ready to go for the last buy round. So I'd write off this round and then just go for broke for the rest of it.
My buy rounds are looking really good. Next week I've got 17 playing at this stage, and then the week after I've got 22. So I'm not upset. I'm looking all right. So I'd love to ask how your buy rounds are looking for the next couple of weeks, but I am afraid the answer is I have no idea.
Yeah, you know it is. But, like, the strategy for this week was just to do whatever was best for the team and, really just put the players on the field and get them to give 100%.
Yeah.
That was my strategy.
You just got to get the best out of your boys.
Yeah, you're
The chips
gonna
are
beat
down.
me the first time in a fair while.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's fine.
Yeah,
The
just
thing
gotta,
is-
you've got to get around the boys and just really make sure you let them know and all that sort of thing.
And
They'll
that's
play
the thing
well.
at Border Barrel Super Coach is that when some boys are out, be it buys or injury, the boys that are there showing up, you just got to get the best out of them,
No,
and you got to
exactly.
get the most. You got to get the most on the park that you can,
Yeah, you do.
and you just there's sometimes you just got to pray.
Yeah, exactly.
And
No,
if you've got to DM some of the players beforehand and go score a ton, or this little puppy gets it, then that might be.
no, I haven't. I almost went to that the other week with someone, probably Whitfield. Like, hey, bro, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah,
what's
hey
going
man,
on?
it might be a soccer time.
Yeah, exactly. But my strategy was I've got 19 players. Let's just go with that. But yeah, the captaincy thing really did me in because if I had bloody, if I had Maxi gone, the bloody anyway, as captain, it would have been.
Hindsight
much
is a
better.
wondful thing.
Yes, it's
Hindsight.
Hindsight George
Anyway,
2020.
let's run through these games. We've got less games. We'll just swing through them at a nice, swift pace because there's some games we've got heaps and some games we don't have many.
And then
so-
we've got to talk about Hudson's bloody fall.
Oh, bloody
His-
oath.
The footy boys.
And by
are
then
on
we should have
form.
a final score for the round by then too.
Yeah.
So.
Geelong Cats 83, Western Bulldogs 70.
A lot of players for most people. That was about it. And after this game, I actually felt like
I'm that angry that I can't even pick a good player.
What for your team?
pretty much like McRae was on 13 at quarter time or something like that, and then he came good, and then he slowed down again. And Bont was actually only 2 points ahead of Buku Karmas at 3/4 time. And what did those two players finish on?
109 for Bont and 107 for McRae.
No, sorry. Bont was only 2 points above Buku Karmas at 3/4 time. And Buku finished on.
Oh, sorry, 54.
Yeah, so Bont had a big last quarter, which I am thankful for.
But you also have Buku Karmas, do you not?
Oh, I do. That's what I mean. This week
sorry.
was a shambles.
Okay. Well, I have Robbie McComb, who's only
I
scored 43.
I had him too.
You'd feel bad for the people that traded in Bailey Smith recently.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Sime, as we know, Bailey Smith missed last week due to illness.
Yeah.
This week, he headbutted Zach Tui.
Yeah, that was and with the mullet.
Good headbutt.
Yeah.
With the mullet, like you could really see the whip back. Yeah, that
Dame
really
Lillard
helped.
in the stands just to watch a big headbutt.
Yeah, I heard about that. He wouldn't have had any idea. Speaking of, I don't think he would have had any idea what was going on. Me and Dame should watch a game.
Yeah.
And we both wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
But he scored 67, and that 67 will be followed by a bye, a suspension, and a suspension.
Yep.
And then he will come back. So
Yeah.
Maybe that's when we jump on him.
Is that...
I
so
don't think he's worth it.
I don't think we... I don't know if you've got. Well, you probably know off the top of your head. As far as like, so did Buddy get suspended for
1 week?
1 week.
Jeez, the AFL don't care, do they? Because
Nah.
like 2 weeks for a headbutt, it's like, I don't know. I reckon that's probably worth a little
Yeah,
bit
but
more.
like someone will like grab both arms when they tackle them and they'll knock their head on the ground a little bit, and it's like, I don't want to see this bloke again.
Yeah.
Life.
yeah.
It's ban him for life.
It's
Yeah.
impact and severity. It's not based on what the action
But
was.
it should be the action. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
agree.
the issue, is that if you punch someone in the jaw,
in the brain.
like if you punch someone in the fucking brain, if you jaw someone and they've just got iron chin
Yeah.
and they just cop it, it's like, oh well, we'll give him a week
Yeah.
because he punched him.
Yeah,
but then
'cause-
if someone
'cause-
punched me in the head, I'd be like, that's it.
Yeah,
and
'cause
they'd
it-
be like, I'd be dead, and they'd be like, oh, we'll give him 2 weeks.
Because if
'Cause we
Cochin
killed him.
if Cochin hit the ground and his brain turned into that SuperCat meme or whatever it is with all the rainbows. Yeah, exactly.
Shooting stars,
all
bro.
all of a sudden it would be you
4
know,
weeks.
Yeah, so
Yeah, just 4.
yeah. But anyway.
Bad boy, buddy.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it definitely helped that Zach Tui was like, he wears old school. He was Irish about it. He was like, oh, if tempers were fraying, we'll grab at each other.
No,
it was a
but-
bit of this, bit of that. I threw him into me just as much as he threw me into him, kind of thing.
That
He
was
was-
true, but he did a Geelong thing, which he overacted it when it happened, then stood up straight away as if to say, just kidding. When he got it.
didn't overact it because he got
He
headbutted
went,
in the head.
Then he stood
and
straight
it-
up like, no.
and it split his eye open.
Yeah. No, he got him there, like right on the top of the
He
forehead.
had blood on his
Yeah,
eye.
you can see the mark. No, it was higher than the eye.
You're
That was
cooked.
his bloody high up. Bloody
This dude...
third eye.
See,
Don't let Zach saying that he likes Hawthorn fool you from the fact that he is a Western Bulldogs supporter.
No. Bailey Smith should have got more than 2 weeks. I'm just saying the way that, like, Tui's this tough Irish bloke, and when it happened, I was like, I reckon if that was in the street, he wouldn't have even flinched. I don't reckon.
I don't know. You at least check if it's bleeding or your brain's falling out, which I think
Yeah.
is what happened. That's
don't know.
hilarious.
Yeah, but we have Tom Stewart owners are the only ones maybe more cranky than
Well, his head is actually sore. He got
Yeah.
concussion. He scored 39
Do you know why this is actually the best time it could have happened if you own Tom Stewart?
because he has a bye and he won't miss a week.
No, but also if you have Tom Stewart and you had more than 18 players, it's likely his score would have dropped out from your team anyway.
Yeah,
So you would have missed a premium score, but at the same time, his 39 wouldn't have affected your week
yeah,
anyway.
but then you're relying on a rookie to score well.
Well, potentially, of course, but yeah, unless you had a lot of premiums playing.
No, yeah, that's true. That too. Jez Cameron, speaking of premiums, he's very good at football.
Yeah, he had a big night, didn't he?
Kick 6.
153 points.
Yeah.
Mitch Duncan might be an option again if he can stay fit.
I'm telling you, man, you've written off Mitch Duncan a number of times.
Well,
this
injury
year,
and a slow
and,
start when he came back.
I've always loved Mitch Duncan. He has a soft spot for me. As does Libba. I do enjoy watching him play because he just cares. Like, he's just cares.
He looks like he can barely run. But
Speaking of Damian Lillard watching footy, there is no way he's watching that game and seeing Libba have 30 touches and kick 2 goals and looking at him and going, how is he an athlete?
A pro athlete.
Because even Sarah goes, he looks like a type of person at a train station that's trying to bug a cigarette off you.
Yeah, he does.
Like, you look like
Now,
he's
what
like,
is
"Hey,
that?
man,
Because he's got
hey, man, hey,
my
man."
God, you're greasy tattoos, or
No,
is it the
it's
crunchy
because
nut muesli bar tattoo?
No, it's not. None of his tattoos. It's the fact that he's got bags under his eyes, like he looks like he hasn't slept in months. He's got the bloody curly
2
mullet,
sleeves till Christmas, mate.
curly mullet, and he looks like he's out of breath when he stands up.
well,
Like, he looks like he's
Yeah.
30 touches.
He
bum-
looks
3
like
tackles.
an 80s footballer that at halftime you walk in the rooms and he's
having
a diary.
having a dart, sitting there
Yeah.
like with his elbows on his knees in his jocks, in his tidy white. He's having a dart, and the coach comes in and he's like,
I'm finished
"Libba."
this. You just start me on the bench in the third quarter.
I've got a bit on. Now, are we worried about Bont's alleged shoulder injury that he's carrying?
They've got a week off.
Yeah, okay.
I think he'll be all right. He's been getting tons even with it.
Yeah.
He is not on my radar anymore. I don't have him, and I don't believe
Even
I'll
as a
have him.
forward?
Yep.
Yeah, Tim English scored 80. Worst game he could have possibly played. My strategy, I'm going to give you my strategy with Tim English. I also, because I brought in
He made money.
Bryn Tickle, I'm planning on, once I've finished my team and the buys are over, doing a luxury trade of one of Butters, Heaney or Cornelio to English at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Because then I'll have that switch and I'll also get in what, in my opinion, is a premium with a higher ceiling.
Cool.
But yeah.
And a big head.
I've got a hypothetical for you.
I do like Tim English, though.
Do you reckon at this point Butters would train Butters?
No, he's been good.
He's had 3 tons in a row. Did you know that?
Did you trade him?
No, I've still got
You
it.
traded
You
Canelio.
traded Cordelia.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
All
that's
right, next game. LA Crows 88. West Coast Eagles 57.
I was disappointed by this game because, of course, it had to be Adelaide that ruined it.
Well, they ruined.
West Coast were going to be the only team in AFL history to lose 8 games in a row by 50-plus points.
Oh, they came back, didn't
And
they?
at one point, Adelaide were up by more than 50 points, and they only ended up winning by 31.
Bloody Tex wound back the clock.
Yeah, Tex is still good. He's got his form from last year back. I think that's like 6 tons this year or something
Yeah.
silly. There's a couple of not great scores, but he's good. Rory Laird is just very good.
I do want Rory Laird. I just don't know if I can make it happen, but we'll...
Yeah, I'd love to have Rory Laird. I'm happy with Ben Keys, 117.
Yep.
You'd be happy with Jordan Dawson because he only plays 1 quarter and somehow always scores 80 points in
Now,
it.
I obviously was playing yesterday, so I missed this. I just saw his stats after the game. And I saw him on AFL.com first, so I didn't know what score he had out of the breakdown. But it looked like an okay game, and I was happy to see that he got a ton. But do we have like a quarter-by-quarter breakdown of his stats? Because
It's SuperCoach-wise, yeah, I can get you this.
what are we on?
Yeah, it's a little
Footyscores.com.
different one. So if we go to SuperCoach, you'll see that Dawson was on 75 at 3-quarter time and scored 106.
Okay, well, that's good. Nice little 31-point quarter.
Half-time, he was on 48.
Okay.
So bad 3rd quarter, big 4th quarter.
So just going okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a little one. Jordan Dawson is a big 4th quarter player, and he has been for the last little bit now. That would have been good to go through. Will Brody kicking a goal.
Well, Brody, a lot of people have you.
Resurrection of a career defined.
Yeah, that's a good one. Moving clubs and
And Freo have another one in Jordan Clark as well. Bloody hell, he's good. I rate Jordan Clark. Always have.
Quick segue. You're talking about Libba.
Yeah.
Daniel Rich is probably in the same category.
Yeah, he looks a bit...
A bit of a mess.
Bam Bam.
Yeah, he looks a bit like just kind of ended up there. And they were
Yeah.
like, do you want to play footy? And I was like, oh, fuck, I don't know. Sure.
He's that guy like the NFL punters that aren't athletic but can kick the ball.
Yeah. Like the theory about Michael Cera or just looks like he was like standing outside an audition room and he just was too nervous to say no.
Yeah.
So just went throughout his whole career and he was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Someone kept being like, audition for this. He's like, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, keep moving.
Paddy Parnell debuted, Border Boy.
What he got injured?
He got
though.
41 and then he got a corked quad. So he'll be out anyway. But apparently Nix was saying that he's only in there for 1 week anyway, which I don't know
gotta go.
as a coach if you are bringing in a guy for his first game and going, well, he's not going to play next week.
Do we know what Adelaide are doing with their team anyway?
Nah.
Like with Thilthorpe getting dropped. I don't know.
Well,
but
look-
also, what about that 41 points, 14 kicks, 1 handball?
Yeah.
Had
Yeah.
a bit of a go.
All I can say about old mate that it's only having 1 game, he doesn't care. He gets a jersey, he gets some shorts, he gets a jacket. He's stoked.
This is you.
It looks like
but
an
this
Oz
is
kick
your
kid.
theory.
This is your theory.
Anyway, keep going.
Well, I haven't got much else to say.
Greg Clark. We all like Greg Clark.
Oh, yeah, he scored 54.
10 tackles, leading tackle person.
Get
Leading
up.
tackler on the ground still only scored 54.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
High
And
school science teacher, they said.
Greg Clark.
Yeah.
Is he?
Oh, no, sounds like he could be.
Sounds
Oh.
like
Yeah. Know something
Mr.
about a
Clark.
Bunsen burner.
and then Brody Hoff, who I don't know what he sounds like, only scored 40. I have him, unfortunately. He was on my field.
Not much else to report in this game. Typical West Coast game where it doesn't really matter.
No. Yeah.
Cool.
No
All
one
right.
really keep an eye on.
Next one, we've got hit the button.
The goal comes.
109. North Melbourne. 40
North Melbourne Bowling Club.
Yes, bloody hell. Took.
They were good for a
there
quarter.
it is.
Yeah, Took.
I had no players in this, so you guys can talk
Didn't
amongst
ya?
yourselves.
I had 3. I had 3. One being Took Miller, scoring 167 in
He's
his
back.
in his 150th game,
Oh, what a guy.
including 32 touches, 5 marks, and 8 tackles.
Gosh.
He went 22 contested possessions, 13 clearances, no clangers.
Yeah, no, it was pretty incredible.
That's very good.
And the other bloke.
Jared Witts, 117, good. And the other bloke, Simon, do you still have him?
No, I don't. But I have the other guy.
Oh, the other guy.
What's the other bloke?
The other ass. Blitz ass and Rose ass.
Oh, you've got Rose Ass? Yeah.
83. That was a good
83.
score.
But the
That's
man
good.
that you must have traded recently,
Yes, no, I don't have him. I know I did pretty well.
Matthew Rowell, 125.
Zero
20
marks.
20 kicks, 5 handballs, 11 tackles, and a goal. But yeah, you'd be happy with Rose Ass. In buys, that's where you really want your rookies to step up. He had 7 tackles, which is pretty good.
Good on him.
Pretty good. People that brought in Joel Jeffrey, 64, not terrible.
I actually wanted to, and that's the other thing. I couldn't do trades this week. I had no one to trade down to him.
Yeah. And I also had Paul Curtis, who scored 55.
Even that's fine. See,
I'll take two.
that's why you guys are gullible. You bloody rookies are even scoring well this week. All of mine was scoring less than bloody 50.
There nothing really on North Melbourne's side worth mentioning in
Some
terms
people
of,
have Todd Goldstein.
Yeah, Todd Goldstein, 98. LDU keeps ticking along, 109 for him.
Yep.
You could do worse, but you could do a lot better.
A lot of people
Brought in Jed Anderson, who scored 82, who looked like he was going to score 150 at the end of the first. But yeah, this one was more Gold Coast, and the kids got it done. Raoul, Powell, Rankin was huge. Noah Anderson, Caleb Graham kicked his first goal in AFL.
What did he score?
87.
I nearly probably.
Rosas Farah, who is overage from Falls Creek, I think they mentioned, which is a weird spot for a footy player to come out of. Buderick, who almost broke the record for Gold Coast most intercepts in a game, which is incredible considering Stephen May was at the club.
That's
he
true.
only did, it was
He
one
barely got
more
on
than
the park
Buderick.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some good kids, and unfortunately for them, they'll have to play another one because someone who I really like, Lockie Weller, his ACL is most definitely torn.
Saw this when I got to the pub last night, and everyone at the same time when they saw the replay let out, "Oh," because you just see how it happened.
Yeah, they know.
And it was a change of direction one, not
Not
even
to make this about me, but it was exactly the same way I did mine.
Were you moving that quickly?
Went to go one way. Back then, I did. To be honest with you, back then I was moving rapido. Now, not so much.
Rapido.
And how much did the insurance from your, how you pay insurance at the start of the year or registration?
How much did it cover?
Yeah.
As the New Zealand rapper known as Scribe would say, not many, if any.
Yeah. Isn't that... It's actually insane. I want to get on that one day because that's a bloody rort.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
But yeah,
Not many.
I really like Lockie Weller, so that was hard to see.
Yeah, it sucks.
But yeah, let's. I think we can move on from that game as well.
Well done if you had Took and Wits and all the other boys.
The battle of the bowlers. I think Gold Coast for quite a while were the team that we thought might go bowling.
The Gold Coast Bowling Club.
And they're stepped up into a footy team, whereas North Melbourne are relegated to the bowling club. I don't even know what West Coast are doing. They're
lower than a bowling club.
I think they're a disband and start again in Tassie club.
Do we think with North Melbourne the AFL actually have to step in and save them or
No,
not?
because I think their players, like they've got the talent. As I've mentioned previously about Horn Francis's location in games and why he's on the bench all the time, I think it's the coaching staff, and I think it's a backroom club-based situation. They've spent all this time trying to get out of debt, and it seems like it's at detriment to the football quality.
Operations.
As evidenced by 3 of their recruiters leaving on the same day.
Yeah, no, I heard about that.
And their prize number 1 recruit stalling contract talks, and Cam Zerha also stalling contract talks. It's as much as people say, like within the club, it's like the club's doing this, the club's doing that. Optically, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Final thing on it, and you touched on it. AFL doesn't have to step in and do anything really unless they give them a priority pick in the draft because they're out of debt and they're self-sufficient. A club like St Kilda, despite good on-field results, they are in debt.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about from a financial perspective, really that's the only way the AFL could step in and go, what are you doing? You're not
Yeah.
being relegated, but
Yeah.
whether we're folding you or you know, and the members still have to vote on this stuff anyway, and they wouldn't because they tried to move them to the Gold Coast back before Gold Coast became a thing.
But the whole
And they
thing,
said
with,
no.
and the thing with North is we pay them out for needing to go for a bowl. They've had record membership year on year for the last probably 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah,
because
like,
I don't know what-
but fans see the future. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, in the moment, it's hard to watch. Like, as an Essendon fan, it's very difficult to watch us play because it's god awful. But then when you distance yourself from that 3 hours on a Saturday night, you're like, the club's going in the right direction. I can feel it. We've got people on the list that'll help turn things around, and I think that's where North's at the moment. It's not going well right now, but as someone who watched Essendon last year, it can all turn around very quickly.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Or
All
a
right.
Melbourne side that finished second bottom and then won the premiership not long after.
Well,
How did they go?
Well, we'll bloody tell you in a minute. Here we are. Sydney Swans 73, Melbourne Demons 61.
So Simmo's team in 2020 versus Simmo's team in 2021. Simmo's team in 2022 had the bye this week, but
Oh, no, I follow the Swans now.
You're
no.
back on.
No, I'm joking.
They didn't-
Controversy.
Melbourne deserved to win this game.
But,
Melbourne did.
But
Melbourne were the better side.
I was watching.
Sydney were just pressured.
Yeah. I
pressure
was,
central.
I was watching, and it seemed a bit of a give-up job.
Yeah.
Like they were just stuffed, which is weird because I've never seen them stuffed. And
Mate,
it seemed
I
a
only
bit
saw
of a
the
give-up
last
job.
quarter, funnily enough.
Yeah,
So,
same. That's all I saw.
Having only
Give-up
seen the
job.
last quarter, I was like, Melbourne should win this. And when Sydney did, I was like, were they the better team for 4 quarters?
No, I
can't
don't
say.
Well, Melbourne, the only reason they were in it towards the end is they were up by 40 points at quarter time or whatever it
Yeah.
was. But Sydney did out-tackle them 75 to 53 for the game.
Yeah, it's pretty
I reckon Melbourne have been limping into the bye recently. And as a Melbourne supporter, I read online, has said, we haven't played a good game this year, which is very true.
Yeah.
They've been quite poor this year, and now they've played a resurgent Freo and a very tough to beat Sydney team, and they've kind of been found out. I think pressure is the way to beat Melbourne.
Yeah. Now,
And my gripe with this game outside of Supercoach is everyone. Buddy wasn't there. They did it without Buddy, and it's like, yeah, I get it.
There are other
But
players in the
Melbourne
field.
also didn't have the best defender in the comp.
the wall is Simmo.
Like, if you're telling me that
Mr. May.
Buddy's a bigger out than Stephen May, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah. Well, particularly these days, the way the game's played.
Yeah, it's like we're not talking about prime Buddy or like it's not Tony Lockett. Like it's Buddy who 1 week will kick 6 and then the next week won't exist.
a modest 2 from free kicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, the big story was Max Gawn. If you
Yes.
captained Max Gawn,
Wow.
you were cheering. And I wanted to captain Max Gawn and Clayton Oliver, and I looked at their previous scores, and Oliver burnt me a tad last week. Gawn, his previous scoring history, I think 3 sub-tons in the last 4 weeks.
Yes.
And I went on recency bias, I can't do it. And then I ended up basing my captaincy score on recent scores, which proves why you shouldn't do that either. So basically, there's no science, and it's just all luck of the draw and eat a dick if you went well.
I did.
No, yeah, well,
I'm
good.
going
hope
moving
you,
mic for anyone
it's all
watching.
right. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, but Max Gawn, a big 198. Unbelievable stats for a ruckman. 28 touches, 9 marks, 30 hitouts, 3 goals. Pretty incredible.
A career high 23 contested possessions.
And that which is just
Mid status.
insane. Oh, well, wouldn't that be bloody awesome?
Has there ever been in the history of Supercoach a ruck mid? I don't think there could be. Could
Nah,
there?
the closest there really could have been, I think at one point, everyone thought Blickvass was a chance because he was playing in the middle a little bit, and then he got defender instead because he went to a back flank.
Angus Brayshaw was second in the comp leading into this week in marks.
And how many did he take last night?
7.
That's all.
That's pretty crazy,
Yeah, no,
though.
it is.
Like that, a guy who 2 years ago came 3rd in the Brownlow,
As a midfielder.
then last year was irrelevant, almost. Like he was pretty much carried by his team to a premiership, and then this year is
Well,
a halfback who is very
He
good.
did, although he was in the top handful of players on the ground in the grand final.
Yeah, in the
He was
grand
very
final, he
good
did
in the
play
grand
very well.
final. Oliver had a good 134. So if you
Yes.
did captain him, that's still fine. Obviously, you would have preferred Gorn, but that's all right.
Sime, one that you have who all of a sudden isn't what we thought he'd be, Christian Petrarca.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a great player, but, I was going to say, are there heaps of players that score very well in SuperCoach but aren't good players on field? Probably not.
Well, I mean, there's...
It does vary from week to week.
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, yes. There are...
No, sorry, Jake. Is
No,
it,
Jake's good
when
at
you
what
see
he
when you
does.
see
Yeah.
Gullen and
The
Zeeble
Seagull.
last year. last year.
But it's
was-
like, there's... The thing is, Petrarca is a top 3 player in the comp, so there's probably not, like, there's definitely scorers like... You'll hate me saying this, Gratzy, who he's been very good, but James Sicily has been scoring incredibly well. But you wouldn't be like, he's a top 5 player in the comp.
Yeah, that's why
top
what's-
5 defender in the comp.
But
As a
that's-
defender, maybe
that's-
top 5. But
that's why it's SuperCoach is tough, because if
Yeah.
you just pick the best players, then
Well, you won't- yeah.
you won't do well.
Nah, you got to. There's a strategy to it. But yeah, he was disappointing. Everyone, I think's off the Jake Bowie train by now.
Yeah, you should
With a
be.
55.
Salem, Christian
Salem, yeah, he's back. He looked on for a big score and he ended up on 83, but which is not bad in a comeback game.
But he only scored, I think, 4 in round 1 before getting injured, so
Yes.
his price will plummet.
It will.
But also, sorry, just quickly, Christian Petrarca's price will plummet after his 54 last week.
And he's 70 this week.
Yeah, so I was actually planning on bringing him in this week, depending on how low his price goes, because I've got enough coverage in the third round of the buys, but he played next week. I'm just going to see what happens tonight when it opens, but we will go from there.
The Sydney side's worth talking about, though, isn't it?
Well-
Sam Reid, who they called Ben Reid, Luke Darcy called Ben Reid all night.
Wangaratta specialist.
Yeah, he kicked 3. He had 16 touches, 5 marks, and 10 tackles.
I thought he
That's
was
huge.
Seriously, he ran out for Sydney against West Coast earlier in the year, and I was like, didn't he retire 4 years ago?
Yeah.
The interesting thing is all the scorers. Sorry, just quick. Callum Mills. I saw people did skip at him. 113. Could have done worse. It's not a little bit disappointing, but still a good game. And 10 tackles from him as well. The interesting thing was the amount of boys in the 90s, which is some very SuperCoach relevant players that all scored in a little lump sum in there.
Luke Parker, Isaac Heaney, which is two
I've got-
players on your team.
Yep, 97,
Paddy
96.
McCartan, who
Also on my team.
Sime, do you still have Paddy McCartan?
Yeah, I do.
We all have Paddy McCartan. The other one who I've had my eyes on for a while, Chad Warner, very good. 2023 M1, M2 from Sydney. Maybe 2024, I might wait a year. Errol Goulden and Chad Warner.
Well, Errol Gordon should still hopefully have forward status.
126 for Goulden last night,
Nice.
thanks to a very, very, very big goal from outside.
Yeah,
50.
that was
and
good.
it was a good kick too.
Also, he was
Good as
50
Golden,
out
is it?
near the boundary line. They said scores from set shots this year 4 straight, and I was like, well, it's going to have to be a good one to keep that going.
And it was a very good one.
Very good.
But yeah, there was a nice moment after the game where they were talking to Paddy McCartan and he attributed his second coming in footy to his brother and was saying how much he loved him and like he's the reason I'm still here, which was a very nice moment because as they mentioned on commentary as well, there's 2 stories this year that are heartwarming, and it's Paddy McCartan coming back to footy and Sam Doherty playing footy. So
Yeah. And it'll be Ben Cunnington. It'll be the third when he gets back.
and then
good.
Bobby Hill, as we haven't mentioned that on the pod, but he testicular cancer as well, unfortunately for him and his family and the extended football world. But yeah, they're the kind of players you can't not root for.
Yeah.
Because you just want to see him go well, and like it's hard because Paddy McCartan, we know his history with head knocks. But like every time he hits the ground, you're like, oh no.
Yeah,
And then he
happened
gets
once
up
this
and
year
it's like,
already.
woo! Yeah. But I think that was more precautionary than anything. It wasn't disappointment in the fact he got hit. It was more disappointment in the fact they said, no, you're not playing.
Yeah, he's like, I missed enough seasons. But anyway,
But yeah, big game there.
Next game.
Get into the Sunday footy.
Next game, we got Collingwood Magpies 72. Oh,
We don't have a button for the Hawks.
Okay. Hawthorn Hawks 68.
Hawthorn.
Fuck you, dogs!
That was.
Oh, yeah, we got this one.
Go the mighty magpie!
Simmo's so mad.
left?
He's Can't even pick a good player. No, he's gone.
Oh, this was just one of those. I messaged you guys after and said, I think I'm the most gutted I've been from a game. And I think it was just because this was a team that we usually beat. And I thought they've had a good year themselves. I thought it was just our day. I just thought this is going to be it. And when we started poorly, I completely tempered my expectations. And like we've done a few times this year, we came back and I'm like, we're going to win this. And we dominated for the first half of the last quarter and we were 2 kicks in front. And then we just couldn't buy an inside 50. And the game ends almost with the ball like in our 50. And it was just, sad. I'm over it now. I'm glad the boys fought back and fought out the game. But
There were a couple of, in that last minute or two, there was a lot of moments where it was like, are you just ready for a dodgy umpiring decision?
Well,
Because there were a few, again, similar to the Hawthorn-Brisbane game that we mentioned 2 weeks ago. Get like both sides, there was some real dodgy ones.
well, I'm just going to say.
And non-decisions.
In the. Yeah, okay. See, did you watch the whole game?
Yeah.
First quarter, at one point, the free kicks were 7-1 Collingwood's way, and 2 of them were Jack Ginnivan free kicks that he got goals from, and both of the one free kick, the umpire that was directly in front of it didn't pay it, and the out-of-zone umpire paid it. And another one, CJ just was running to the ball and put his arm out and barely touched Ginnivan, who hit the ground, and he kicked a goal from 50 near the boundary line, because of course he did.
The first one, though, that the out-of-zone umpire did call was
that was a borderline free kick.
It was there.
It was just frustrating. And then they started to say, you know what, Jack, you're not getting your high free kicks.
Yeah.
Which was,
but then he was getting coat hanging, and they were like, no, it's the principle. And it's like the dude's getting his head taken off.
Yeah.
Now, this is Simmo era right now. Sorry, they're showing an old NBL lad. And Simmo's sitting there like, I can name all of them.
Oh, Gratzy. No, it looks
The haircuts have come back.
Yeah. That's the
a
thing,
little
though.
bit too close to the ears.
Style is a big circle.
Oh, definitely it is. Look at
did-
baby names.
Oh,
Yeah.
why did they agree to that? That's shocking.
I want to say, just before we get into the SuperCoach scores, the 2 favourites for the Rising Star played against each other today, and I still don't think watching this game you could split them, because as much as one had more of the ball, if you talk about impact from the other on the ball, especially contested, like it's 50-50 still.
If I had to pick between the two from this game alone, I'm going with Nick Dacos. He had a much, much better game.
Okay.
He was just so calm and composed exactly when you needed him to be. Jai Newcomb is a bull. He gets the footy a lot. But I think, like, you look at 10 clangers for Newcomb from his 24
But
touches.
without looking at the stats the way they are.
Yeah, no, I think Dacos impact
On the game?
I could see it more.
So second
There
half.
were moments for Newcomb. Don't get me wrong, but
we're not in the game if Newcomb doesn't play the second half he plays.
But I think this is how you're going to have to split him at the end of the year. Is you look at who you'd rather have as a footy club going forward, because they're going to all have big years.
But that's
And I
hard
think
too,
Nick
because
Martin
it
will
depends
come.
on which team.
And I can tell you that going forwards, without getting too into stats or anything, out of all 3, Nick Dacos is out of all 3 the one I would have.
Interesting. Well, I suppose
Easily.
the hard
because
part,
he's a guy that's played 12 games of footy. He's getting 36 touches in the wet and using the ball incredibly well. And he's just so calm and composed at 19.
the reason why it's hard, and I'm asking this question because I'm not saying which one necessarily should, because I think there's 2 ways you could look at it. There's 2 schools of thought easily. You've got a guy that's also played, I think, 7 extra games than Dacos, playing a much more at the coalface role, which is a position and impacting in a way that usually players in their 4th or 5th seasons would impact. So if you are the decision maker and it comes down to your vote, I actually think it might come down to let's say it's like an ex-player on the panel and it comes down to their deciding vote. It might come down to what that player was like as a player and what they valued more.
Yeah.
Because I can see for sure, if you're like, look at the pure class and the accumulation of someone like Dacos in his first year, unbelievable. What if Mark Rashudo was on the panel and he's like, This kid, Newcomb, plays exactly like I did and just runs through everyone. He's like, as if it's not him, like 12 tackles in the wet, got his team back into it. Unbelievable.
I still think former players would look at Dacos and be like, yep, he's the one.
I don't know.
Just-
I don't know. This is probably the toughest race has ever been to this point.
But all I'm saying, like outside of the rising star, if you had to pick between Newcomb, Martin and Nick Dacos to take forward with your club, I'm picking Dacos. Because you look at the players that play like Dacos and how big they've been over their careers and how good they are. There's Pendlebury, there's Sidebottom, both in their team who are incredibly good footballers.
Yeah.
And Newcomb at the moment in the comp, you look at like the Bulls and it's like, yeah, they're fine, but they're not the reason you win games.
Well, I think the thing is, though, I've
Dacos
likened
is-
I've likened Newcomb to Petrarca, and he is the reason teams win games. So,
Newcomb can't be Petrarca. He doesn't have that.
oh,
ability.
I'm not saying he is, but like
He doesn't
If you're
have-
talking about attributes and like physical attributes and like the way he can impact around I don't know. It's so much, and like this isn't even like an argument; it's just a fun discussion. But by the end of the year, one of them will probably be ahead. It's just so interesting that at the halfway point they played against each other,
Nick Martin
and were
will come
both
back and win it anyway.
probably the best player for their own team today as well. Mitch Lewis, a great game up forward. Take out his 4 goals though. Newcomb was Hawthorn's best player.
Darcy Cameron was best on ground.
Oh, he was very good. But anyway, SuperCoach, you've got Darcy Cameron.
Darcy Cameron, 129. I also have Jack Crisp, who scored 100, and I have
Simmo, you got Crisp?
James Sicily scored 98.
I have crisp.
You have Chris. That's very crisp of you.
Crisp and Crips.
Now, I had Sicily as captain as a little... because his last 3 scores have all been above 130 since he's been in my team. 98 isn't a complete disaster. However, it wasn't even that it was wet today. As people that would own Sicily that paid attention would notice, there was a directive for him to not do kickouts. And I don't know what that's about because he's the best kick on our team. I don't know why it happened. Very frustrating. Very sad for me. But anyway, we
Thanks, Basil.
ride the bumps with the grin on that one. I also had Butler and McDonald who scored 46 and 30.
Yucky.
Not my week. Anyway.
Oh, no.
Anyone else?
Is that all we got?
That's all we got.
Well, we better get into the final game, and then we can run through our team's skills.
Last game, Fremantle Dockers, 99, Brisbane Lions, 85.
The Freo train keeps rolling. And you know, I said this to you when I got here signed before the pod. I reckon if Essendon didn't win the 2000 grand final, as we watched Gary Moorcroft take the greatest mark in the history of the AFL, if Essendon didn't win the 2000 grand final, I reckon I would have gone for Freo.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying it now.
There you go.
Because I still think that old anchor jersey is the best jersey in the
yeah.
history of footy.
It's because you love Sanderlands.
I did. I really enjoyed Sandilands, and I liked Matty Pavlich.
Yeah.
Tony Modra.
Hayden Ballantyne.
Not Tony Modra. Is that
played
Tony
Modra. He was at Adelaide.
Yeah.
Adelaide for the longest.
Yeah, but no, I remember Modra as a Freo player.
Yep.
Who'd you say?
Hayden Ballantyne.
Nah, can't get around him. Who was the dude with the massive head? He was a bit Hayden Ballantyne. Wore a glove sometimes.
Ryan Crowley.
Crowley. I didn't mind him. He was a bit of a grub.
Yeah. He played for Essendon.
Yeah, I think that's why I liked him, because then he came to
There you go.
Essendon and I was like, yeah, I can get around this. But yeah, I like Freo. I'm glad they're doing well, because I like their team this year, because we mentioned career resurrections, and I did mention that I like Jordan Clark, and I'm starting to really like Will Brodie, not because he's in my Supercoach team, because I love just he's good at
he's
football.
doing.
He's very good at football.
He's playing like a top 5 draft pick.
And if he could
Top 10 draft pick.
if he could get a bit of fitness about him, he'd be the best player in the comp.
Time on ground's up to 70% this
Yeah,
week.
it's pretty good.
getting there.
125.
Yeah, 125 is very good.
Yeah. If you got him.
It's because every footy, like he had 25 touches, 16 contested, 10 clearances. Like it's always contested.
Yeah.
Did you know I found out today that KB, so Scott Pendlebury, side note,
Oh, yeah, that came
massively,
up.
Scott Pendlebury is the 4th player in AFL history to have 9,000 disposals in their career sign.
I didn't. Look, it would surprise you. I didn't know that.
But apparently they mentioned that Gary Moorcroft, Kevin Bartlett, of his 9,000 something touches, over 8,200 were kicks.
Yeah, right.
Like that's wild.
He
Like
not handball.
tell me any player in the AFL now that you would think would get to 9,000, and I'll show you someone that averages 30 touches and has 2 kicks.
It's pretty.
Tom Mitchell. He's the
Well,
only one I can think of.
bloody hell.
Lockie Neal.
Sicily, I don't reckon handball's a hell of a lot.
Yeah, true. But I don't think he's getting 9,000 disposals
Probably
either.
not. Andy Brayshaw we've got. So this is both.
Yeah.
By the way, this just finished. So these are pre-scaling scores.
Let me refresh the page because we might have some action happening. 17, 14. Blah, 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 blah. Nope, we've post-scale.
Post-scale.
Brody, 125. Brayshaw went down a
Brayshaw
point
went
to
down.
113.
Bloody excellent. That's just what I needed. So my score is even less.
And then on the Brisbane side, Lockie Neal, 87, which I did think would happen. Freo mentioned they'd tag him. Syme, Daniel Rich, 119.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Tell
Oh,
you
boy.
what, how good.
So if we go in, so I think that's all that relevant on that side.
What did Darcy
Sean
get? What was
Darcy
it on
owners,
Sean Darcy?
59.
Oh, that's rough.
That's very rough. The non-super coach, but Griffin Logue played forward
Yeah, he looked all right.
out of the square, and he kicked 2.
Yeah, he looked.
He looked very good. Michael Frederick, 99, kicked 3. Bailey Banfield kicked 4. Wow.
Yeah, he looked very good.
James Aish kicked his first goal. I think they mentioned today that he, since 2019, was 0 goals, 16 behinds. So he finally broke that duck.
That's
he
pretty
kicked a
great.
goal. Zach Bailey kicked 4. Why can't he do this every week?
Just do it every week, Zach. You'd be an All-Australian.
You know, the other thing is just do it more than once every 5.
I know.
I think. Even twice every 5. That's a step up.
We'll own you.
Zorka. Big Zorka. Zorko 103. That's probably it.
Lockie Neal. Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
we
Lockie
said
Neal
that.
already. Sorry.
87. That's
I was
it.
doing a sign. Yeah. What do we finish on is the big thing.
Look,
I
I
wanna
have
talk
one
about.
question before we say what we finish on. Does Charlie Cameron actually own a Harley Davidson?
I don't know.
That'd be one to ask him.
Did we see it? Did you guys see him actually crash it the other week?
What?
So he can't do it again?
What do you mean?
Against Hawthorn, he kicked a goal. He took off. And as soon as he went, he actually slipped and fell flat in his
Oh,
face.
poor
And he
bugger.
turned
How-
around because he thought someone actually tripped him and no one was there.
Oh.
As soon as he went, he just fell straight over. I'll have to find that footage.
Bloody hope he
But-
had his leathers on.
Oh.
Tell you what.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll tell you
we've
what.
got a couple of very modest and some very good final scores here.
How can someone? I don't know how to look it up.
We'll look
Still
up.
telling
I
me
can
last.
tell you.
Still telling me last week.
So Syme.
Why don't we start from the bottom, which will be me?
Yeah, righto. Gratzy, 1,714.
Oh.
I was trying to limit
But you
the
did win.
damage.
You did win your matchup in the Shiva.
I won 2 leagues. I won 2
Well,
leagues
there
out of
you go.
7 somehow.
There you
And I
go.
won in our main leagues. I'll take that as a win.
In the other games, where are we? Syme, the Border Barrels, 1938 lost. That's really
That's
tough.
really stiff because that's
tough.
a decent score.
1938, and the Footy Boys, coached by Hudson, scored 2,082.
Is it
which-
the highest score in the league?
Yeah, it's the highest score in every league I'm in.
Oh, he's going for the weekly.
Oh.
You can share it by a few bees.
I'm definitely not.
Fanta.
Oh, I thought he was like, he's buying so much Fanta.
Yes.
No, no,
He's
no.
super into Fanta.
Yeah, he loves Fanta.
Oh, yeah, but 2082 is quite big.
Well, just like you once said on this podcast very famously, you were the first Hudson.
yeah.
Maybe this time you'll be the first Supercoach.
Yeah,
And you're going to
well-
go up in the rankings. You've done
I
well.
should go up in the rankings quite. I would suggest.
I've
quite a
been
lot.
going up very, very incrementally, very
Yeah.
modestly, from
sneaking
25,000
up.
to 13, literally just outside the top 13,000 over the course of about 6 weeks. Just slowly, just chipping away. And I'm ready to pull the trigger. And I keep saying I'll pull the trigger. It doesn't happen. And I'm not there yet. Now I'm going to go down and take a hit. But the league stuff's going okay.
Well,
It'll be all right,
buys
mate.
are really hard to. You don't know where you're at
Until after.
until round 15. Yeah, when you start round 15, that's where you're at. Because for every good buy, there's a bad one. And you're always like, if I can score 2,000 all 3 buys, then goodness me. But
Well, you'll be bloody laughing. But yeah, anyway, some big trades to come up this week.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Now, long weekend next weekend as well. So we will do the pod, I assume, not as the round is finished because it will finish on a Monday.
oh, yeah, who plays Queen's birthday?
Collingwood, Melbourne. Like they do every year for
That
the
could
Neil
be
Danaher.
interesting. Oh, yeah, big
which is
freeze.
awesome because
The crowds are back.
finish off with something that sounds negative but is absolutely positive. I reckon it was 3 years ago. They said, we just don't know if we're going to have Neil for next year's Queen's birthday game for the the slide into the ice water.
Yep.
And he's still here.
Yeah.
Like,
good
how
on
great is that? Because every year they're like, I think it's gonna be the last year, and he just keeps going.
you. Nah, good on
So I don't know I don't know how that's going on, but like we bloody love to see it from Neil.
Speaking of not sure what's going on, for those podcast listeners, you won't see it, but for the watchers, I don't know what that maneuver was called that Hudson just pulled off there.
Well, maybe there's no watchers at this point.
Yeah,
Yes.
the watchers won't see it either because the camera is full.
Oh, we nearly made it.
Oh,
almost got
Anyway, we almost
well,
got
you're
there.
bloody gabbering on.
But that's all right. We'll
Oh my God! Put your pants back on, Simon.
Yeah.
Yes, and no,
For
there's
our
no,
patron viewers.
there's no proof that I am wearing pants. So
Save it for
anyway.
the OnlyFans.
Yeah, bitch. All right, we'll sign off, and that'll do us. Border barrels.
good luck, good trading. See you next week.
See you next week when Hudson's top 2,000.
Drink nice beer.
Yeah, the.